little bit later than I was hoping to get started with this. So this section of the video, or section of the series, whatever, will probably be an all-day thing because, one, it takes a while, and two, this has fur on it. It's not just buckskin, so that takes an extra while to dry. I hung it out at about 5 o'clock this morning. I was going to hang it out last night and just let it drip dry overnight. But I forgot, and I remembered it like midnight, and I thought, nah, I'll just put it out in the morning. So right now I'm going to attempt to kind of wring it out a bit, and I'll stretch it back out after I wring it, and then it'll be kind of a gradual process throughout the day. As it gets drier, I'll have to stretch it more often, but right now it's still pretty wet. So I'm keeping it kind of, right now there's some sun on it, but it'll be kind of in the shade, not sitting directly in the sun most of the day, which should help it dry more evenly. So I'm going to go ahead and wring that out as my first step this morning, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so after looking at this a little bit, I think when I did it before, it was starting to dry out a little bit too much, and I didn't quite get all the membrane off. But now that it's soaked, it's all really obvious. So I think I'm going to flush it again and then let it sit for a few more days. And soak, just to make sure it's completely done. So I'll do that, clean it up a bit better. You can see like where it's gotten a little bit dirty from sitting in the water, but that's all the bit that needs to come off. If it peels off here, like, you can see here where I've peeled a little bit off, and it's nice and smooth and white. There's that little bit of an edge there. So that's the stuff that I need to scrape all the way off before I stretch it out. So I'll do that today, and then make sure I have all that off, and then I'll stretch it again and put it back in the tub maybe for another day or two just to make sure it's good. Then next sunny day I have, I'll go ahead and do this. Alright, see you again later. After working with this for a little bit, I was able to get some of the edges cleaned. You can see kind of the difference, how this is like real nice and smooth and white, where this is all still grainy and funky. So I was working at getting that cleaned up, but it was a lot of work. And I decided to wash it off to get any like excess hair from when it was in the tub off. And I noticed that when I used just the jet spray, like the loose parts were just washing off. So I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna borrow my parents' power washer to get the rest of this off, because it's just driving me crazy. The other thing I noticed, see if I can find a spot for you guys to see, is that the hair is starting to pull out like fairly easily. So I've decided to just go ahead and make buckskin out of it. I might choose like one spot to keep with the fur on it. Maybe like cuffs that can go over my moccasins or something for during the winter. You can see how it's just pulling out right there. It's real smooth. So I might, I'm going to stick it back in the tub until I can get that power washer. Probably tomorrow or the next day. Maybe the next day. I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow. I know that doesn't make a difference for the skin, but it does make a difference for me. So, that'll be the next step. And then I think you can soak it in lime to help the hair fall out easier. And then you just have to balance the pH. So you can see how that's all. Most of it is pulling out easily. There's some spots that are still there. But that's basically what you want it to look like. Nice and thin and smooth and clean. Not with this gunky stuff on the edge that's still there. I think if I had soaked it ahead of time, it would have been easier to get all that thin stuff off. I think it had already kind of started to dry a bit and adhere to the skin, which made it harder to get off, or even to see it when I did it last time. So that's my plan. I'm going to get a power washer and wash as much of it as I can off, because it'll just be so much faster and easier. So I'm going to fold this up and put it back in the tub until I have that, and then I'm going to try power washing it to get all this gunk off. So that's that, and I'll see you guys next time.